Okay, so hello students. We are going to solve March 2023 का BK का question paper. In this video we would be covering only the objective section. आपका objective carry करता है 20 marks. The weightage for objective is 20 marks. So this video is dedicated only for objectives, and I'll be releasing videos for descriptive section also. Okay, so let's start with your first sub question, which states write the word, phrase or term which can substitute each of the following statement. इसमें बेसिकली आप लोगों को वन वर्ड लिखना होगा जो गिवन फ्रेज को परफेक्टली सब्सटीट्यूट करता है. सबसे पहला फ्रेज जो हम लोगों को गिवन है दैट इज क्रेडिट बैलेंस ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट. ठीक है, तो क्रेडिट बैलेंस ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट को हम लोग नेट प्रॉफिट बोल सकते हैं इन वन वर्ड. सो दैट इज द आंसर. नाउ फॉर सेकेंड फ्रेज, डोनेशन रिसीव्ड फॉर स्पेसिफिक पर्पस. ये तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा सिंपल है. जो भी डोनेशन किसी स्पेसिफिक पर्पस के लिए रिसीव हुआ हो दैट इज टर्म्ड एज स्पेसिफिक डोनेशन. ओके, नाउ द थर्ड फ्रेज, उसमें क्या बोला, द रेशो विच इज ऑब्टेन्ड बाय डिडक्टिंग ओल्ड रेशो फ्रॉम न्यू रेशो. यस, ये वाला फ्रेज थोड़ा सा क्रिटिकल है. यहाँ पे बच्चे इसको ओल्ड रेशो माइनस न्यू रेशो इंटरप्रेट कर देते हैं, बट द करेक्ट इंटरप्रिटेशन इज it is new ratio minus old ratio. You are deducting old from new. मतलब new is greater than old. That is why you are going to deduct old from new. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा English का खेल है. If your English is strong, then you would crack the statement. So new ratio minus old ratio, that comes to gain ratio. Okay. Now fourth phrase is expenses incurred on dissolution of firm. It is called as dissolution expenses. This is one very simple one. Now next one is Tally software is classified into this category. So the category in which Tally has been classified is mercantile category. Okay. Okay, so now let's move further towards solving next part, that is sub question B, which states calculate the following. ठीक है, तो इसमें बेसिकली हम लोगों को कुछ कैलकुलेशंस परफॉर्म करना है. सबसे पहले क्वेश्चन में बोला है कैलकुलेट 12.5% पर एनम डेप्रिसिएशन ऑन फर्नीचर. ठीक है, इसमें अभी दो पार्ट्स में स्प्लिट है फर्नीचर का वैल्यू. सब पार्ट ए में बोला है कैलकुलेट डेप्रिसिएशन ऑन 2,20,000 वर्थ का फर्नीचर विच वॉज यूज फॉर 1 फुल ईयर, एंड सब पार्ट बी में बोला है ऑन 10,000 वर्थ का फर्नीचर फॉर द पीरियड ऑफ 6 मंथ्स. ठीक है, तो इसमें बेसिकली हम लोगों को पीरियड वाइज कैलकुलेशन करना होगा. ठीक है, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द सॉल्यूशन. सबसे पहला आई वुड बी कैलकुलेटिंग डेप्रिसिएशन एप्लीकेबल ऑन 2,20,000 फॉर 1 फुल ईयर. ठीक है, इसका तो बेसिकली फॉर्मूला बहुत सिंपल है. कैलकुलेशन ऑफ 12.5% पर एनम डेप्रिसिएशन ऑन फर्नीचर. ये बेसिकली मैं यहाँ पर फॉर्मेलिटीज के लिए लिख रहा हूँ. एग्जामिनेशन परस्पेक्टिव थोड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है ये. ठीक है, नाउ लेट अस परफॉर्म द कैलकुलेशंस on asset category A, wherein I have used furniture worth 2,20,000 for 1 full year. ठीक है, so एक तो हम लोग 2,20,000 लिख देंगे. Then on this amount I have to charge 12.5% का depreciation, and since this is for 1 full year, so the period applicable would be 12/12. So इसका वैल्यू आ जाएगा हम लोगों को somewhat 27,500 रुपीज़. Okay, so now let's calculate depreciation applicable on part B, wherein we have 10,000 worth का furniture for which we have to charge depreciation at the rate 12.5% for 6 months, only for half a year. So that would come to somewhere around 625. Okay, so the total depreciation that we are going to charge on furniture is the addition of 27,500 and 625, which comes to 28,125. Okay. Okay, so next one में हमको कैलकुलेट करना है ओपनिंग वैल्यू ऑफ लाइब्रेरी बुक्स. ओके, आपको क्वेश्चन में बोला है लाइब्रेरी बुक्स रुपीज डैश लेस 10% डिप्रिसिएशन which comes to rupees 5000 is equal to 45, मतलब आफ्टर डिप्रिसिएशन वैल्यू दिया है एंड डिप्रिसिएशन का अमाउंट दिया है एंड क्वेश्चन में बोला कैलकुलेट द ओपनिंग वैल्यू और rather this could also be called as the depreciable value of the library books. Okay, so let's start solving. This is again a very simple question, nothing required to brush up something in it. Okay, so we have got a formula for WDV, which is depreciable value, or we can also call it as opening value minus depreciation. Okay, so basically WDV is equal to depreciable value minus depreciation. So in the question, we are given with the values for written down value, which is basically our 45,000, and also we are given with the depreciation amount. Okay, so see here, 45,000 is our WDV and 5,000 is our amount of depreciation. So using these two values, we can reverse calculate our depreciable value, or rather you can also call it as opening value. Okay, so here I write 45,000 as WDV and depreciable value, we need to find it out. Depreciable value or rather opening balance. Okay, and I'm given with depreciation amount. My depreciation amount is 5,000. So now it reduces to very simple equation. Okay. Okay. So depreciable value can also be called as opening balance. Now the equation is really simple. Our opening balance would be equal to 45,000 plus 5,000, which comes to 50,000. Okay. So a very simple question. Okay. So now moving further towards our next question, where we are given with Apte and Bhate. These are names of two partners who are sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 3 is to 2. Okay, so these two partners share the profits and losses in the ratio of 3 is to 2. So basically, this is their old profit sharing ratio. Okay, further, we are given with if Kate is admitted at 1/4 share. Okay, so Kate is basically name of new partner who is going to be admitted. Then calculate the new profit sharing ratio. Okay, we'll calculate the same. So let's start calculating it. First, we'll write the given values, whatever we are given with. So we are firstly given with Apte's and Bhate's old PSR, that is their old profit sharing ratio, which is 3 is to 2. Yes. And then the other value which we are given with is the incoming partner's share. So Kate, who is going to be admitted, his share in future profits is given as 1/4. Okay. So now we are good to start with calculations for new profit sharing ratio of the firm. So the first thing that we are going to calculate during the calculation of new PSR is to calculate balance of one. A balance of one is basically 1 minus incoming partner's share, which is 1 minus 1 upon 4, which comes to 3 upon 4. Now to calculate, first we would be calculating new ratios of the existing partners. So Apte is our existing partner and the new ratio would be calculated by using the given formula, which is old ratio multiplied by balance of 1. So their old ratio is 3/5 and the balance of 1 as calculated above is 3/4. So Apte's new ratio comes to 9 upon 20. Now let us calculate for Bhate. Bhate's new ratio would be his old ratio, which is basically 2 upon 5 multiplied by balance of 1, which is 3 by 4. Now this would come down to 6 upon 20. So Bhate's new share is, or rather new ratio is 6 upon 20. Okay. Now let us calculate Kate's new ratio, which would be 1 upon 4 multiplied by such values so that the denominator of Kate gets common with the other partners. So the denominator of other partner is 20. So we have to multiply Kate's share by 5 by 5. So his new ratio would become 5 upon 20. Okay. So the new ratio of the firm. So we are done with 3 questions, 1, 2 and 3. Now we are moving towards question number 4. Okay. So what is given in question number 4? We have Ganesh who has drawn a bill for 40,000 on 15 January 2020 for 2 months. Okay. He discounted the bill with Bank of India at the rate 15% per annum on the same day. So we are supposed to calculate the amount of discount. Okay. So we'll calculate it. Discount here is basically the discounting charges which the bank would be charging. Okay. Calculation of discounting charges, or rather calculation of discount. Okay. So discounting charges is equal to the bill value, which is in this case 40,000. Okay, so there is a formula where discounting charges is equal to bill value multiplied by the discounting rate and multiplied, and this value would be multiplied by period of bill, or rather the period left. Okay, so we have the bill value as rupees 40,000 and the period left would be 2 months because the drawer has discounted the bill on the same day, which is 15th January. So the period left would be the full period of bill. So we are left with full 2 months. So the bill value is 40,000 and the rate of discount applicable is 15% per annum, and the period left is 2 months. Okay. So upon calculating this, we would get the value, or rather it would be reduced to 400 multiplied by 15 divided by 6. Okay, so upon solving this, we would get the final value of discount as rupees 1000. Okay, so this is the amount of discount that the bank has charged. Okay, so now let us move towards the fifth question, which states from the following information calculate the current assets. Okay, so current assets are those assets whose benefit exhaust within 1 year. Okay, so examples of such assets can be identified from this question, such as the daters, which is current asset, and stock, which is also a current asset, and loose tools, which is also a current asset. and all other items are current liabilities in the question. Okay, so we have to basically add the values of all the current assets that have been identified in the question, and that's it. You get your value for current assets. So we have to simply add the value of debtors, which was 60,000, and the other values of stock and loose tools. So we'll do our calculation. Current assets is equal to debtors plus stock plus and the value of our loose tools. These three assets constitute our total current asset. So debtor का value was 60,000 and the value of stock was 30 and loose tools का value was given as 10,000. Okay. So upon adding this, we'll get our value for current assets, which is basically 1 lakh. 60 plus 30 plus 10 comes to 1 lakh. Okay. Now moving further to our sub question C, where we are supposed to agree or disagree with the following statement. So the first statement is partnership is an association of two or more persons. Simple, agree. Not for profit concerns, do not prepare the balance sheet. Absolutely no. Disagreeing with the given statement. Next is retiring partner is not entitled to share in general reserve and accumulated profit. Disagreed. Dissolution takes place when the relation among the partners come to an end. Yes, agreed. Next one is authorized capital is also known as nominal capital. Yes, agreed. Okay, so further moving towards sub question D, we have to select amongst the four alternatives given. Maximum number of partners in a firm are dash according to Companies Act 2013. Okay. So Companies Act prescribes it as 50. Option D. Income and expenditure account is a nominal account. If asset is taken over by the partner, dash account is debited. Capital account of the firm is debited. Okay. Now the next question. Death is a compulsory dash. Compulsory retirement. The person on whom a bill is drawn is called as जिसके ऊपर bill draw किया गया है. He will be called as drawee. Okay. So simple. Thank you.